I grew up in a super small town. At least I thought it was really small until I made my way to Penns Creek. I loved my town. I loved the family feel. I loved that if I would go to a store, I would usually know someone, I could call them by name, and we all were just like a big family. And I wouldn't have imagined anything better for my life. But there was always this longing in me for something more. God had given me a desire to do music and a desire to reach people, but I didn't know how to make that work, and I didn't know what God had in store for my life. It was August of 2013 when my life kind of took a different turn than something I would ever imagined. And I didn't even want to go to college, let alone Bible college. So I made my way to a little youth camp in my hometown, and I didn't really even think I was going to go that year because I was older and this just was out of my idea for that summer. But I went. And it was in the final service. The speaker was talking about following God's plan for your life. And if he's given you something that you need to be doing, then you should do it. Don't hold back. Do what God wants you to do. During that sermon, I realized I wasn't doing what God wanted me to do. He had given me a love for music, and I wasn't doing anything with music. At the end of the sermon, the speaker said if anyone wanted to come to the altar and pray, they could do so. I remember sitting in my seat, and I didn't really want to move because I was kind of confused and what was I supposed to do? And I remember it almost was like someone put their hand on my shoulder and said, go to Pennview. I actually turned around in my pew because I thought someone had literally done that. But it was God talking to me right where I was at and telling me I should go to Pennview. I remember going home that night, telling my mom about it. She was shocked, I was shocked. It was out of my plans. It was just something that I would have never imagined for me. So after several conversations with my parents and actually realizing that this was definitely something I needed to be doing, I took a trip to Pennview. Mind you, this was 2 weeks before school was to start. I remember walking up the stairs for the first time, going into the administration building and talking to people like Dr. Cooley and at the time President Zeckman. And I was sitting in Brother Zeckman's office when I decided officially that I would come to Pennview. I signed the appropriate paperwork, and my parents and I left that day, headed back home. I quit my job, I kind of packed up my life, and within a week and a half I was back at school to be a student. I remember going to my first classes those next several days and meeting the young people, meeting the staff and the faculty, and learning this place called Pennview and falling in love with Pennview every single day. Yes, I shed many tears when I came, and there was many times I wanted to go home and just quit. But oh, the peace that came from knowing that I was following God's will for my life and doing exactly what he wanted me to do. God used the people at Pennview to completely transform my life. He used people like John Zeckman to help me understand what true consistency is. Francis Stettler to show me how to use wisdom and grace. Barry Mason to give me a love for music and how to use that love for music to influence the little people. And Mike DiStefano to give me a passion for music and to understand that music is inspired from God and to always use that love for music to help win lost souls for Christ. Frank Heidler to help me reach out to those around me, even if it was just by one kind smile. And he used people like Cindy Davis to help me never to back down from my convictions and to stand by what I stood for and to always trust that God had a plan for my life. But more so than anything, what these people at Pennview showed me was what a true heart of ministry is, and that is a heart of consecration to Jesus Christ and whatever he has for your life. Through my years here, I have traveled the greater US, talked to countless people, and over that time, things finally began to click. I always had this love for music, a love for people, and I realized God was allowing me to do exactly that every single day of my life. If I would have been scared to answer that call, I would have completely lost that purpose that Jesus Christ had given me when I was just a little girl. The doors of Pennview opened to me, giving me the opportunity to reach others with the thing that is closest to my heart, music. I still remember that love of music God gave me when I was 2 years old. And who would have thought that I get to use it to touch others? Yes, I may not be at a church ministering through music, or I may not be on a mission field, but I get to sit in an office and I get to talk to young people every single day. I get to travel doing music ministry with our college choir and ensemble. I get to teach little kids every single day, not only about a love for music, but about the love of Jesus Christ. And yet through this, I pray that somehow one of those young people that I touched, or a little soul that I'm teaching music to, will someday go out and they will win others to Jesus. You might be thinking, where should I go? Or maybe you're an alumnus of the school, or maybe you're a current student. Let me remind you that God has a purpose for your life. Sometimes we may not understand what that is, or you may not be able to see it right away, but God has something for you. Because of what I've seen God do in my life through Penview, I grow more encouraged in what Penview stands for, and I believe in what it's doing. It's sending out people to do ministry. It's sending out ministers and missionaries, musicians, school teachers, children's workers. It's sending out people to do what God has called us to do, and that is to reach hungry, lost souls for Jesus. I guess you could say it makes sense now why God told me to come here back in 2013. God used Penview to change my life. He used the people here to transform me. He can do the same for you.